Now, going over to the Culture Proud podcast, you have Harley Davidson. Well, their woke policies escaped, and now the world is irate. Will there be a boycott? Now, begs the question: what's the background of Harley Davidson? What used to be badass, motorcycle? Vroom, vroom. Trying to think of the Harley Iron 883 was the last one I kind of wanted. Now, that being said, they also manufacture a luxury product that no one on the planet absolutely no one needs. It's something that is the first thing that's cut from people's budget when there's a bad economy. Which, anecdotally speaking, I had three friends who had motorcycles. Two of them sold their motorcycles in the past 6 months, and the biggest reason they did it was the economy and just the cost of the insurance, and they weren't using it enough. It was a pure luxury, and they both sold them. Now, looking at the company, they've been struggling for quite some time. One of the biggest issues, biggest issue with Harley is, it's a nice way of putting this, most of the people who traditionally purchase the product, they're passing away. I believe some people call them the boomers. So interesting enough, I've never seen a boomer with like a boom box playing some old music. I don't know why they call that, but nevertheless, their stock has been doing terribly, and their sales. They even tried an EV startup, and they spun that off. That didn't work out so well. Now they're going to try that again. Now, let me actually show you the stock. Before we dive into the controversy, let's look at the background of the company. In the past 5 years, and again, S&P 500, again, not financial advice, but on average, the history has shown maybe a 10% return. Now, Max, you look at the stock, it's even worse. It's down 50% since I believe they went bankrupt. What was it, 07? They had another IPO, 2007, around $72.01 per share. Granted, by the time this video is rendered and uploaded, the price of stock will change. That's what the stock market does. At the time of this recording, is $36.39 per share. Now, past 5 years, that's terrible. The stock has gone up 0.96%. And look at how much it fluctuates. Again, there's a lot of things, a lot of parallels with the economy. Because again, when times get tough, no one is buying a motorcycle. Well, I should clarify, no one that is financially prudent, and the average person is just, they're not doing it. If you're still doing very well in a tough economy, you maybe have a different industry, you have a sales job with a unique product, and you're really good at your job, maybe. But on average, that's the first thing people just cut from the budget. So the past 5 years, they basically have done nothing. That's why a lot of people, again, not financial advice, that's why a lot of people recommend buying the S&P 500, not individual stocks. Again, not financial advice, that's just what I hear, that's what some people I know do. Because again, that's a good example. The industry, like overall, stock market historically does pretty good, but 0.96% growth in 5 years, that's god awful. Now, the past 1 year, it's actually down 9.2%. Year to date, down negative 6.67%. Past month, about nothing. It's negative 0.44%. Week, down 3.63% last week. That's not great. Now, interesting. I wonder who owns the company. Well, let's dive into that really quick. Look at their largest shareholders, and no surprise. The top 3 shareholders by number or percentage of the shares. Number 1 is the Vanguard Group, coming in at 9.5%, equating to 12,413,883 shares, valued at almost $437 million. Jeez Louise. Second place is H Partnership Capital LLC, which, I'm not a marketing genius, but that name just sounds boring as all hell. But nevertheless, that's their name. They have 8.5% of the company, equates to about 11.8 million shares, valued at $415 million. Then, of course, you have the OG that everyone knows about called BlackRock, which, incidentally enough, they better own. I would hope that they own some geological companies. There has to be some there. I know it's just as a pun, they should have at least 1% of those companies. But nevertheless, BlackRock owns 7.9%, coming in at 10,608,068 shares, valued at $356 million. A lot of people are wondering, why is this company having all these, what we would call woke policies? Is it because they believe in it? Is it because the customers want it? Oh, absolutely not. Statistically speaking, if you look at who buys a Harley Davidson, on average, hell no. However, why is the business doing it? Well, the shareholders all are investing companies that do it. And again, if one of these were to sell all their stock, the price would drop like a rock, or it would drop like a Harley Davidson falling over. It would not be good. The investors would be irate. It might even inspire more people to sell. It would be utter chaos. Now, in terms of who was able to find out about all these policies, well, we have one of the most effective investigative journalists, Robby Starbuck. He was the same one who was able to uncover the stories around not just John Deere with all of their woke policies, but also Tractor Supply. And in both times he uncovered them, there is enough of a boycott for the companies to back off of those initiatives, at least publicly. Time shall tell to see if they truly back off of them. Let's go ahead and we'll pull up Robby Starbuck really quick. And it's a little bit of a long video, I think. Pulled up to the very top. Again, he is hashtag ROBBYSTARBUCK. See, I thought I was already following him. Let me fix that. So, let's see. Oh, shoot. His voice is infinitely better than mine, so we'll play a little bit of him first. I think we'll play the first half. It's about 10 minutes long. Oh, let's get the volume working here.
Y'all, this may be the most shocking expose that I've done simply because the brand is so out of alignment with their customers. This is Harley Davidson. It's time for them to be exposed. In Harley's words, they are all in on diversity and inclusion. Now, let's take a look at what that means. I wonder how many Harley riders are aware that Harley Davidson is a platinum founding member of the LGBT Chamber of Commerce in Wisconsin.
It's also the fanciest of all the metals on the periodic table. I mean, platinum is what they make records and fancy jewelry out of.
Is the same chamber that says on behalf of the businesses that are a part of the Wisconsin LGBT Chamber, they opposed banning transgender sex changes for children. Harley Davidson even hosted an LGBTQ plus boot camp at their corporate offices, and look at that sweet cake they got them. Isn't that just so inclusive?
That is a Progress Pride trans flag.
Here's a closer look at that cake for all you Harley riders out there. So who's Harley?
I'm actually surprised they didn't put their logo on there.
Davidson's CEO. Well, it's another CEO that was placed right around COVID.
Jochen Zeitz is an unusual choice to lead Harley Davidson. He's German. He's an outspoken climate activist.
The businessman who uses his millions to change opinions on climate change. Are you getting Harley Davidson vibes yet?
In 2030, that we should be completing that total transformation of the company.
If his goal is the total transformation of Harley Davidson, well, he's well on his way. They sponsored this LGBTQ plus Pride event where they had a rage room. And I am not joking, something called a rage room to, quote, let off steam. It was located right next to the story time area for children to interact with drag queens and the play catch with a dad for all those who had daddy issues. In Harley's so-called sustainability report, they also say that their 1,800 global employees completed a virtual training to learn what an ally is to the LGBTQ plus community, and that employees also participated in an engaging and interactive learning session that allowed them to explore social identities, both seen and unseen. We all know what that means. And then again, in honor of National Coming Out Day, employees attended a virtual session featuring Sandy Eichel. Let's see who Sandy is.
Sandy Eichel is not your typical financial services speaker. Once a Lutheran pastor's wife, a professional opera singer, and a consummate perfectionist, Sandy had the picture-perfect life. But inside, she was miserable. So she chose a new last name, a new career, and a whole new life and mindset, which...
I used to say suit up, but good God, what is that? Like a plaid-looking suit? Interestingly enough, the shirt under it does actually look the same shade as mine, so I don't have too much ground to stand on, perhaps.
Elevated her to the top of her profession.
We have to change our culture, and we need to do it quickly.
In their
I might have to throw the shirt away.
sustainability report, their CEO also brags about their 90 out of 100 HRC CEI score. This score is one I've explained many times before, but essentially is the Trojan horse that pushes all these left-wing values into corporations. And this score begs the question, is Harley Davidson's health plan covering the transition of children? That's one of the metrics that the HRC CEI score judges. And if you're a Harley Davidson dealer, guess what? They've got a plan for you heading into 2032. They want to increase the diversity across the global dealer network at both the staffing and owner-operator levels. That's a fancy corporate speak way of saying less white people. I think it's important to note at this point that the CEO of Harley Davidson is making almost $12 million a year while making these changes. In Harley Davidson's sustainability report, they also brag that their legal department participated in the American Bar Association's 21-day challenge. Through 21 days of short readings and videos, the challenge encouraged participants to step out of their comfort zones to acquire greater racial literacy and inspire engagement in the fight against racial inequality. So let's take a look at what's in that challenge. It promotes the widely debunked and racist 1619 Project. It promotes a radical book called Black Panthers and White Lies. It promotes the idea that climate change is harming expectant black mothers, and they promote Marxist Ibram Kendi, who says you can't be an anti-racist unless you're anti-capitalist. This training also supports illegal immigration, and it supports the Marxist Black Lives Matter
A moment of silence for all the employees there who have to sit through this training. Gosh, that's gotta be rough.
Organization. That's not all though. This training also makes the case for reparations. Harley Davidson sponsored York County Pride. Here's some photos. Totally normal stuff. I'm not even sure what's going on here. Celebrating Pride.
Is that Professor X? So I'm only moderately kidding. They looks like a, oh, she's quite large. So the wheelchair is reinforced with probably titanium or platinum. And it looks like the wheels of the wheelchair, electronic wheelchair, is fancy. And they have little X's like drawn on, like Professor X. And the person has very large, and they have green hair, which green looks good on a car. At least I think so. Very interesting that it's there.
Going on here. Celebrating Pride Month is not enough for Harley Davidson, though. Under their new CEO, they also made March and February months of inclusion. Don't worry, though, because they never miss Pride Month. They also brag in their sustainability report.
Oh, let me pull up that logo really quick. Frontier Harley Davidson.
Pride Month. They also brag in their sustainability report that they support the HRC's call for the Equality Act to be passed. So what is the Equality Act? The Equality Act is a lot like naming a bill, vote yes if you want to save Puppies Act, and then inside the bill, it actually mandates that you kill puppies.
So every bill passed by a politician basically does the opposite, I'm guessing.
The Equality Act in reality has nothing to do with equality. It's about stripping women of their spaces and allowing men into bathrooms and locker rooms. So you can expect to see more bathroom assaults like this. For all you Harley riders out there, I want to be explicitly clear. Harley Davidson supporting the Equality Act being passed means that they support boys competing against your daughters in sports, stripping them of their championships, their opportunities, and their scholarships. It also means that they support men following your daughter into the bathroom, and your daughter is supposed to shut up and be okay with it. But if Harley Davidson did not support the Equality Act and men following little girls in the bathroom, they probably wouldn't win cool awards like this from the LGBT Chamber of Commerce in Wisconsin. So, I mean, really, what matters more here?
I mean, the award looks like it's made out of glass. It's got some etching on it. And it is a fancy award. You could probably put that in the corporate headquarters main lobby.
Harley also apparently did a PFLAG training, that is an organization that supports child sex changes. And here's a quote here: Harley Davidson becoming a trans ally and going beyond the binary. Again, are you feeling Harley vibes yet? If you've been watching my series Exposing Woke Companies, then you're familiar with United Way, who was a partner with John Deere doing a 21-day equity challenge. That challenge is one of the most insane far-left pieces of propaganda I have ever seen. And again, United Way pops its head up here with a $320,000 donation from Harley Davidson. So I said, that's weird. How much money has Harley given them? Turns out it is millions. Here's United Way Milwaukee bragging about one of those $1 million donations. So my question:
$1 million when your company is struggling? Your stock hasn't grown more than a single percentage point in 5 years? I mean, again, this will get some sales of a new category of clients, maybe 18 people in San Francisco, but it's one of those instances where that money could have been put in a myriad of other ways. I mean, traditional marketing, a new product. Granted, I know it won't pay for a new research development of a whole new cycle, but you can invest in that in an infinite amount of different ways I think would be more effective to actually build the company up.
The question is, why is Harley Davidson supporting with millions of dollars an organization that is pushing far-left Marxist propaganda on the public? Are Harley riders really cool with supporting an organization like this? Speaking of things coming back around, remember this Bud Light fiasco? And remember how John Deere was also on a Budweiser beer? You seriously cannot make this stuff up. But anyway.
And he was, if you're just listening audio on something like Spotify or podcast, again, do me a favor and subscribe on that platform as well. He's pointing to a Budweiser can, which had the Harley Davidson logo slapped right on it, which, I mean, in terms of licensing, that's the easiest money they can make. I mean, traditionally, Budweiser's just going to cut them a check and let them put the logo on there because, I mean, people will buy it just because it has that iconic logo on it. That was also, like, wasn't it just months after the Dylan Mulvaney fiasco where Bud Light thought it was a good idea to spend $185,000 to hire Dylan Mulvaney as a brand ambassador, and they subsequently lost $1.4 billion, perhaps being the biggest business blunder of the century in terms of a negative ROI for a marketing campaign.
Cannot make this stuff up. But anyways, back to United Way. If you don't remember them from my John Deere expose, here's a reminder of what their 21-day equity challenge was like. It was recommended to me that I read Ibram Kendi's How to Be an Anti-Racist. It says, read Awake to Woke to Work, Building a Race Equity Culture, essentially a book about bringing wokeness to work. Another challenge option I received was to listen to the podcast episode, Bias Isn't Just a Police Problem.
I mean, of all the books they could be reading right now, when they could use a lot of sales, I mean, what about a sales or marketing book? I think those would probably be a bigger ROI for the company.
It's a preschool problem. No, I'm not joking. And just when we thought we were done with Ibram Kendi, they're discussing his book, Anti-Racist Baby. Yes, that is the children's book about anti-racism. When I was recommended a book about black transgender people, the first thing that popped in my mind, by the way, tractors. This 21-day equity challenge from United Way also recommended that I watch the 2018 video Deconstructing White Privilege by Robin DiAngelo. Again, another far left figure. So in case you're doubting that Harley Davidson also participated in training with United Way after giving them millions of dollars, well, it's right here. They had more than 65 Milwaukee area employees attend a panel discussion to learn more about the long-standing discrimination issues in the community and how COVID-19 has highlighted the inequalities in our society. Harley Davidson also brags in their sustainability reports that they had employees go for leadership training and diversity training at United Way, and that 15 employees participated in conversations on race with the YMCA, along with other employees who had to go to the White Men is Full Diversity Partners training. That is a white male-only training course. That's not enough, though. They also had 50 employees take part in a training with the Human Library Organization. Let's take a look at the Human Library Organization.
I mean, it's called a Human Library Organization. It has to be a great institution telling people how to read brilliant works of art like George Orwell's 1984, or perhaps George Orwell's Animal Farm, maybe the Federalist Papers, learning about the Founding Fathers. I mean, as a library organization, surely they are, standing up for those brilliant works of art. Yeah, probably not. We'll get back to reality.
No surprises here, but I really wanted to make sure all you...
Wait, did that just say don't judge a book by its cover? Don't judge a book by its cover. And it's an extremely large, maybe, woman. The book is called Book of the Month, Transgender. I'm not going to judge you. Now, ironically, if that is a picture of the book and not just a poster board, it says don't judge a book by a cover, but that book does in fact have a cover.
Prizes here, but I really wanted to make sure all you riders are aware that the Harley-supported Pride Ride in Wisconsin is a safe space for you. Again, no, I am not joking. Harley's activism does not stop there. They also were named a top business partner for LGBTQ+ inclusion by the Pennsylvania Youth Congress, who they support. And the Pennsylvania Youth Congress is also responsible for getting gender-neutral IDs in Pittsburgh.
Harley Davidson is an American icon. Its CEO, Jochen Zeiss, is taking it down a new road.
Well, they've got that right. Now meet Ryan. He's Harley Davidson's program and project management, and he says that he is so proud to work at a company where this is not a controversial post to make, especially in the current environment with anti-trans and anti-drag bills passing all over the country. This is on Transgender Day of Visibility. Now, let's be very clear what he's talking about. He's talking about laws that ban sex changes for kids and ban children from being able to attend sexual drag shows. Those are the laws he's opposing, and apparently, in his view, that is not controversial at Harley Davidson, that he supports kids being able to get sex changes and kids being able to go to drag shows. Ryan also seems to hold the view that a company going woke does not mean it will go broke, so I think this might be a good test case. Let's find out if Ryan's right. If you think that Harley Davidson has fallen totally out of alignment with its core customers that have made that company great and successful, then here's their customer service number to call. And here's Harley Davidson's media department contact information if you have any questions or a request for comment as to whether or not they're going to continue down this path of wokeness and DEI.
I'm sure that email is always overwhelmed by now. Was it media@harley-davidson.com? Yeah, or 414-343-4636. I mean, by now they have to have a pre-recorded thing, on and ready. They're not going to actually answer people.
Or if they're going to turn around before they destroy this once great American company. And finally, you may want to call or write their owners group, okay? The Harley owners group, they would want to hear from you about anything that you're upset about as a Harley rider. And this last part is to the CEO of Harley Davidson. I know you're watching this video, so let me tell you what your customers actually want, because it's pretty easy. Just get rid of the social issues and divisive causes. Make great motorcycles and provide great customer service. No more CEI scores, no more DEI departments, no more woke trainings, no more donations to woke causes, no more donations to pride parades that parade sexuality to children. Just make motorcycles, period. It was a great motorcycle company, and you were destroying it if you continue down this path. You have a chance to turn around now, and we're very forgiving out here. You want forgiveness, though? You need to turn around and stop all of this wokeness and get back to the core business that made Harley Davidson great.
I mean, it would be great if they could also invent a motorcycle that didn't leak oil. I've heard they have, at one point, had that. I haven't seen it in person yet, however. Now, Listener Pre-Val got 2.4 million views and 44,000 likes. Now, again, that might make the customers happy and prospective customers happy. But again, what if one of those big three shareholders just liquidates all their stock? What if they sell it overnight? Depending on when they bought their stock, maybe they make a profit and they share the shareholders or the owners that invested in those companies would be happy. Again, just imagine if one of those companies overnight just sold 400 million shares. That's a pretty big, what could, that wouldn't be good for the company. Stock, oh, that price would crash. Be even more uncertainty for folks, maybe inspire more people to sell. Again, there's a reason why they're pushing this, and there's a reason why I'm skeptical. We'll see if they pull back. And again, when it comes to other companies, time will tell to see if they really did. And one of the first comments comes from Elon Musk saying, quote, Harley Davidson, question mark, getting 7.5 thousand. Robby Starbuck responded saying they literally sent some male employees to a white male-only training on diversity, getting 3.8 thousand likes, which is one of the most ironic things, a meeting about diversity where they quite literally are not diverse. And they quite literally exclude people and invite people based on the race. Ridiculous. Palm World also says Harley Davidson used to represent freedom. Now they're pushing woke agendas. How disappointing, unquote. Getting 814 likes. Arthur Eagleman says, quote, Harley Davidson went woke. Uh-oh, getting 936 likes. Let's see here. Dividend Pig says, wow, let's see how the local Harley Davidson dealers feel about the mothership going woke. Getting 867 likes. Which, that sucks for them, because, again, they don't have a lot of control of what the parent company does. Again, I shouldn't say parent company, the legal entity that is Harley Davidson. All the dealerships, very similar to the automotive manufacturing community, they're all independently owned. Many are owned by a mom and pop. Some of them are actually owned by businesses that own multiple franchise dealerships. And, sometimes I'll listen to the folks on the ground, as I should, because they have more direct contact with the customer. But yeah, they don't get much of a say in terms of what the Harley Davidson does on a corporate level for all these commercials and activities. They probably should, because again, the customer is the most important thing, and the customer is mostly interacting with the dealerships. And yeah, that's gonna be rough for the dealerships. Hopefully, they sell multiple products, so they're not so negatively hurt if there is a boycott, which I suspect there will be. But also, it's such a bad year with political and economic uncertainty. People are pulling back their discretionary spending to as close to zero as they can. I'm not sure how many people really going to buy a motorcycle anyway this year. Going down more and more. This person bought a Harley Davidson truck. Really? Oh my gosh. That's how much of a diehard fan this person is. The Harley Davidson had a brief partnership with Ford where they made a special limited trim edition that had Harley Davidson logos slapped all over it. And people did buy it. That was from Dan Morrison saying, quote, in the last 5 years, I've purchased 2 new Harley Davidson motorcycles and a Harley Davidson F-250 truck. For those will be the last unless the CEO is replaced and these programs end. I may even sell the Harleys I have, unquote. Getting 313 likes. And there you can see the Ford F-250. The wheels are probably as big as my car door, my little Honda Civic, give or take. Scrolling down more and more. Douglas Carr says, yeesh, that's more customer blind than Bud Light, getting 810 likes. Cecil Moore says, I was hoping you'd do this one. For the record, I love and have ridden their machines for about 3 decades and logged about 500,000 miles through 46 states. Wow, I got 347 likes. Webmeister says, talk about another brand not understanding their target market, getting 702 likes. That being said, they're struggling for sales. Maybe they're thinking, wait, we'll go after that market in San Francisco. I mean, again, you could argue that these types of policies are also marketing, and they also have some little marketing posts about these initiatives as well. But there are some people who buy purely based on politics, purely on social and cultural things. There are a couple of people who probably will buy Harley because they're doing this. However, if you like the whole number of prospective clients in the United States, as this has devolved into a political issue and is a very divisive one, I would say more often than not, you're alienating more people than you are gaining with these types of stances, policies, and initiatives. See if there's any contrarian statements here. Redway Press simply says, rest in peace, Harley Davidson, getting 130 likes. Scrolling down, Jim Hansen says, time to reclaim the great American brands from the woke mind virus, John Deere, and now Harley Davidson, getting 123 likes. So not a lot of contrarian statements here. A lot of people are saying how they have the high scores to the DEI stuff. And again, those high scores do drive some, brokerage companies and some investing companies to buy their stock just based on that alone. That's a huge thing, especially for those big companies like Vanguard. You also have BlackRock, State Street. And there's a reoccurring theme when we talk about who are the largest investors in these businesses. And again, here's another one that says looks like the 4th largest investor is FMR LLC at 8.09 million shares. So definitely an insult to their current customer base, and I don't really think it'll be. I don't think it'll be a profitable idea for the company. Now, how bad will the boycott be in the next couple of days? Will they get roasted online with social media? Will they just let people? Will they get to the point where people are actually pushing their bikes over and having Kid Rock shoot it with his MP or with the MP5. Again, those bikes are also a pretty penny. They're not cheap, so I kind of doubt you're going to see that type of bombastic or very abrasive boycott behavior. Unless you're Kid Rock and you have just copious amounts of money and you can do whatever you want, basically. I don't think the average person is going to do that. Now, when they sell it, it'll be interesting. But let me know in the comments. As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, I'm trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving me a thumbs up or a thumbs down or a comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.